Welcome to the Open Smoke Whiskey Reviews. My name is Brent. Thank you so much for stopping by. Tonight we're going to be going over the Jim Beam 200th anniversary. It's a 1995 bottle. I got my good friend Dusty Dan that actually gave me this bottle or sent me this bottle. And he sent me this bottle um, as a as a congrat. Hold on one second right here. This All right, there we go. I had two windows open. Anyway, we're going to be going over this 1995 200th anniversary Jim Beam. And Dan sent me this to actually welcome my little one, my youngest little girl, which was born 4 months ago, into the world. It was kind of a congratulations gift. Very nice gesture. And I'm going to let Dan talk a little bit about his channel before we get into this whiskey.
Hey guys, I am Dan with Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. My channel's currently been pushed off to the side for a moment. Just had to get some personal things in order. So hopefully, looking to bring back the channel here soon once everything is situated. Everything is good and fine though. Again, you can find me again Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews on YouTube and Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Dan has a great channel. Very, very knowledgeable man of whiskey. Chad Holly and Jason Coates. What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by. And what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be going over this Jim Beam 200th anniversary edition bottle. And I sent Dan 3 blind samples, and he sent me 3 blind samples. And we're going to kind of go over those samples tonight and go over this bottle together that he sent me. Very nice gesture. And as far as information on the bottle itself, there's very little information out there. It is pretty much all in the bottle. It's aged 75 months. It is 95 proof, and the bottling is cool. It is definitely cool. It has this cork. It's not really a cork. It's a ceramic stop on top of it, kind of commemorating the 200-year anniversary of Jim Beam. Now, my and Dan's first impressions of this whiskey were definitely kind of weird, to say the least. And we're buddies, you know. I called him and I'm like, Dan, have you tried this whiskey, man? He said, no, I got 2 bottles. I'll open one up. And he tried it, and we were both kind of like, what is this? And I have done a little bit of research on this. This is Jim Beam has been messing around with the Jim Beam Black for years. And this here is one of the first renditions or experiments that they did on this bottling of the Jim Beam Black. I see Doug Tempest is in the house. What's up, Trev Wilson? What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. So we're going to go through this bottling, go through some blind samples. Dan sent me 3. I sent him 3. And we're just going to have a good time drinking whiskey with everybody tonight. I'm going to try to catch up on the chat real quick. See you all's in the chat. We have Doug Tempest in the house. What's up, Doug? We have Trev Wilson, Chad Holly. Thanks for stopping by. Jason Coates. D.H. Silv has 2 bottles. LOL. D.H. Silv has some whiskey now. I mean, he really, really does. He has some nice bottles. But like I said, I really don't know much about the whiskey. I do know it's one of their first renditions of the Jim Beam Black, or when they started experimenting with that. And I've never had Jim Beam Black. Dan said he has, and he said it's very, very different from any Jim Beam Black he's ever had. I want to thank everyone once again for stopping in. I'm going to get into the nose of this Jim Beam, the 1995 Jim Beam. I'll show the bottle one more time. My view's kind of crappy. I think you can probably see Dan's bottling a little bit better. On the nose, it's like a vanilla bean and fruits. Vanilla beans, almost like a strawberry. It does have a little bit of like a barrel char note to it, but it's strawberries and vanilla and almost like a smoky aspect to the whiskey. Yeah. D.H. Sills.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Brent. There is that, as we talked about before, there is a very unique campfire-esque, if you will, smoke to it. A lot of that, I think, personally comes from the char. I guess the char that they use in this bottling here. But I agree too that that vanilla bean is very present on the nose, very vanilla forward.
Yeah, it's very vanilla forward, and I get like a strawberry note, but it is so it's different. Like when I first opened it, it smelled like almost like it went bad. I don't know if Dan agrees with it or not, but it was one of the most funkiest, weirdest whiskeys that I've ever tasted, ever tasted or tried ever. I didn't know if it went bad or air got to it or what.
Yeah, I mean, when I tried it, I told myself, I was like, I don't know if I can go back to this. It was just so different, so char heavy, and but I'm glad I did because it completely turned, and it's actually really nice, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And it's like it reminds you of a campfire and like a toasted marshmallow, vanilla. And I get like a strawberry note in the nose also. Nothing super complex. The smokiness to it does add some complexity, but it's definitely a very inviting and interesting nose to say the least. Got some more people popping in here. What's up, Chris Beaton? What's going on, buddy? Richie Z is in the house.
Got Will Henderson in the house.
And got Will Henderson. What's going on, Will? We got the Bourbon Buddies.
Bourbon Buddies are here.
D.H. Silv does have whiskey. He says, I've got nothing special. D.H. Silv has some whiskey, guys. That is a false statement. It is, man. He pulls out some stuff. But now the nose is very nice. The nose on this is very nice, inviting, and it's not boring at all due to the fact that I think that weird, like it almost makes you think of like a I took a toasted marshmallow, like a burnt marshmallow almost.
Yeah.
Very different and kind of hard to explain because I haven't really encountered this kind of smokiness or heavily charred whiskey before. Definitely very different. You guys ready to go?
Yeah. Outside of a peated Scotch, and I've only had a peated Scotch once or twice, so I'm not a huge Scotch guy, so I can't say speak too much on Scotch, but it's not that kind of smokiness though. It's a different smokiness. Again, I think it just came from that char that they used.
Yeah, it's definitely very different. I know D.H. Silv said he had a bottle. I wonder if he's opened it or not. D.H., have you opened your bottle yet? Or Dustin? You do have 2 bottles. You want to get in the taste, Dan?
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's good to be back on. Yeah, see, it's like, so for me, there's like on the front of the palate, you get a lot of those fruits. There's like a mix between some lighter fruits and some darker fruits, and then like as it transitions more towards the back, that's where you get like that campfire sweetness, like a marshmallow sweetness, and then at the end of it is kind of where you get a lot of those those oaky tannins, that some of that char as it finally goes down.
I'm getting the same thing, and we talked a little bit about this before. It's so different. It kind of does sit on your palate. The finish isn't long. I'd say it's probably medium at best. But it just kind of sits there, that smoky, like marshmallow note. Definitely, it's definitely different. And I'm getting like a vanilla in the fruits in the front. And it seems thin. It seems like the smokiness and those burnt those burnt sugars is what's holding it together. It just kind of sits there on your palate.
Yeah.
Very different.
So Brent, tell me if you agree with this. All right. So that night we tasted those Texas whiskeys. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So afterwards, some of that, I guess it would be smokiness, how it just sat on your tongue.
Yes.
That's almost what this is doing.
Yeah, a very subtle brimstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, very subtle brimstone.
But it really did. It completely opened up.
Yes,
again, at first, it was some rough whiskey at first, man. I mean, honestly, yeah.
It was
like almost a borderline drain pour, but
yeah, I think we just got home from the hospital, and the bottle's here. I got it while we was at the hospital, and I cracked it open. It was a celebratory pour. I actually tried it with my father-in-law, and I was like, man, this is weird, man. It was it was just weird. It was not that it was heinous or anything like that. It was just so different. Like all I got off it was that just intense barrel char, and the barrel char is still there, but it's opened up, and you're getting a lot more of the fruity vanillas and caramel aspect. And the vanilla on this is like a vanilla bean. It's an interesting pour, and probably now that it's opened up, one of the most interesting and different Jim Beam bottlings I've ever experienced. I mean, it's a very nice pour. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you say it's unique, and I've never tasted a Jim Beam like this before. And I mean, I've had a handful of different ones. Even some of the older ones that I have from even the 70s and 80s, they don't taste anything like this. So it's very unique in that aspect.
Definitely is. I'm gonna try to get back at the chat real quick here. I seen that Malt User Whiskey Reviews just hopped in. If you guys have not checked out his channel, check it out. Give him a subscribe. He's putting out some good quality content, especially if you are into Scotch. He does some great Scotch reviews, and he's very honest in his reviews. He doesn't cut any corners. I watched his Jack Daniels review. He's a very honest, straightforward whiskey reviewer. I highly recommend checking out his channel. He's doing some great stuff. Good whiskey tuber. He really, really is. Great work out there. Patrick Fulmer is in the house. Trying to keep up with both chats. Kind of aggravating it doesn't scroll. The YouTube one kind of does. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and forth here.
Yeah, I'm trying, man, and I'm just not good at this, guys. I don't do it that as much as I should. But I appreciate everyone for stopping in. Check out the chat here. All right, here we go. We're doing something now. There we go. All right, I think. Yeah. All right, there we go. Way behind. Yeah, way behind. All right, there we go. All right, guys. All right, we also got some blind. I sent Dan 3 blind samples, and he sent me 3. I'm not trying to rush through this, but we're going to be. It's going to take a while probably to get through all these whiskeys. We got 6 more whiskeys to go through. So as far as the Jim Beam goes, what's the price on this, Dan? What is a good, reasonable price on it if you do happen to come across it?
I mean, honestly, it would depend on how much of a Jim Beam fan you are, but I would say anywhere between, I'd say $65 to $80 if you can find it on the secondary. I mean, there's a chance you might find it at an estate sale or something like that, but I probably wouldn't pay over $100 for it if it is out there. Again, it's good. It's unique, but I know some people probably use them as collector's items, but I'd say anywhere between like the $65 to $80 range if you could find it. And that's basically just based on the year. I mean, I don't really consider that a dusty, but It's an older beam. So
Yeah, I looked at some prices. Now, that's why I asked what was a good price. Because I did see this bottle anywhere from 175 to $500.
yeah,
I think it's, I think, like he said, I think he worded that well. Depends on how big of a Jim Beam fan you are. Me personally, I would definitely give the 65 to even $100 range because it's a good conversations piece and is definitely interesting. I mean, the whiskey is 25 years old. It's a 25-year-old whiskey. Now, I don't know if Dan considers that a dusty bottle or not, but to me, I mean, that's a pretty old bottle of whiskey, to say the least. And once again,
yeah. I
Dan,
mean, I guess everybody's opinion of Dusty is different. I mean, typically when I think of like a Dusty, I go, the '80s is I guess where it would start the '80s back. So, but I guess as time goes forward, then I guess some of these ones from the '90s will be considered Dusty too. So,
um, William Davlier, thanks, man, for showing up. I appreciate you stopping in. Malt whiskey. Okay, here we go. I don't know this, but Dan might know the answer to this one. Um, do you know how many bottles were released of this, Dan?
I do not, to be honest.
I do know that there is very limited information on this. Very limited. I looked today a little bit, and pretty much the only information that I could find is the same information that's already on the bottle. It is bottled at 95 proof, and it is one of the first renditions of the Jim Beam Black. They were experimenting with it. I think this is where they started because I've had some of the 80s Jim Beams, the older 80s, and I've never had a Jim Beam like this. And Dan said that he had the Jim Beam Black. I've never had it. And he said
Yeah,
this here is still way different in that aspect of
yeah.
the Jim Beam Black. It's very interesting pour, to say the least. And I greatly appreciate you sending me the bottle. Very nice gesture, Dan. And me and Dan have become really good friends through whiskey. I'm glad to be able to call Dan a good friend. Great man, and he knows his whiskey. And beyond the whiskey, because definitely secondary compared to everything. He's just really a good guy. But
Same goes for you. Thank you. Yes, I agree. We've created a very special friendship. So
yeah, and in saying that, Dan, you ready to move on to the samples?
yes, let's do it.
Okay,
I'm itching.
yeah, I sent him some samples. These are pretty decent samples I sent him. And we're going to kind of do this. I sent them to him blind. He's going to go through, there's 3 samples, and pick which one he likes best. Kind of in the 1, 2, 3 category. This one's first, second, third. And then I'm going to do the same after Dan's through with his. So before this is over, it could be a long night, I guess. I mean, I know the whiskeys that I sent Dan are definitely they're definitely pretty powerful whiskeys, and I'm pretty sure he probably sent the same thing. I haven't even opened Dan's yet, so we'll see how this goes. Well, once again, Bourbon Sane is in the house. What's up, Chris?
Hey,
Thanks for stopping by. And once again, guys, I know I'm not the greatest at keeping up with the chat, but I'm new to this, still trying to work out how to keep up with everything. And anyway, we'll get on with the samples. You want to start with A, Dan?
Yeah. Let's start with A.
All right, buddy.
Now I've had these open now for well over a half an hour. I know that.
Oh yeah.
So they've opened up. Man, that's like a sweet tart.
It definitely is.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
nice, definitely very, very sweet whiskey.
Yeah.
Vanillas and caramels, of course. I'm getting a nice, like almost like a strawberry on it, or in a cherry note. Nothing really.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a very heavy berry presence on this. And it's almost like, yeah, like a sweetheart or some Skittles.
It's very, very
Very
sweet.
sweet. But then like a little bit further down in the glass, there's like I'm pulling out some darker fruits, like a plum character in there too. A little
I
bit
can see
further down.
that. I can definitely see a plum. It's definitely fruity and sweet. Nose on the
It's
whiskey.
actually it's very viscous. I mean, it's just painting the side of this glass.
It definitely an oily, viscous whiskey. Very nice, inviting nose. It
I'm out. Yeah, I
probably
mean, this is like there's some like raspberry too, man. This is very. It's got a lot of berry character to it.
Keith Daniel, just seen you, man. Thanks for stopping by. It's very fruity. It's got a very fruity, inviting nose, and very approachable for the proof. You probably wouldn't guess the proof on this one, but it's very inviting and approachable for the proof for sure.
All right, man. I'm going into the palate on this one. I'm salivating here.
All right, buddy. All right, cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Oh wow. Oh man, that's good.
It's very good. Very good, consistent, and folds on the palate nicely. Drinks easy, very approachable.
I'm wondering if it's the proof or if there's a heavy presence of rye in this. It's hard to tell. I don't know. I'd put the proof point anywhere between maybe 103 to 110, maybe somewhere around. Oh, actually, it's hard. It's hard to say. It's again, I can't necessarily tell if it's the rye spice that's got the burn on the tongue or if it's the proof. I mean, it's not burning going down, so it may not be that high.
It,
Just
it's uh, it's definitely, and you were close on the proof, Dan. I'll give you that. You were
yeah.
definitely very close on the proof. It's very approachable, easy sipper for the proof too. I mean, it doesn't. I'd say the finish is it lingers. It's not super. As far as it was coating the glass, it didn't coat my mouth as well. It did dry out a little bit, but it's
It does
very.
it does leave like a your mouth a little dry. Um, but the finish is fairly long and it kind of lingers on. Now the nose is completely different from the palate for me.
Yes.
This I get like a little bit of milk chocolate. I get like a almost like a chocolate like malt, like a chocolate malt type flavor
Mhm.
on it. But then some of the sweetness that came off of the nose, I'm not getting that. But I'm pulling out more of the darker fruits at this point. I don't know if you are or not. But I get the darker fruits. I get a little bit of like a malt, like a chocolate malt from like Hardee's or something, like
Yeah,
the Hardee's restaurant.
I get that. I definitely get that. I can see where you get that. And I'm getting like a nice caramel and like a dark, like a cherry note on it. And the finish is leaning towards the long side of things. It's a lot different for me right now. I'll be in a reverse situation here in a minute, but I know what the whiskey is, so a little bit different. But Dan, I mean, you definitely walked through this one very well, very well.
I mean, maybe yeah, maybe some of those like sardo cherries, you know.
Keith Daniel asked, "Are you guys trying to guess?" Well, not really, Keith. I mean, I sent Dan 3 blind samples, and he sent me 3 blind samples. And if he wants to take a guess at what it is, that's great, or distillery, or anything like that. But I'm wanting to rank which ones that he thinks are the best, and from first to last. And I think this is really, I'm really interested to see what he does on this.
I,
It,
I'm gonna, if I had to guess a distillery, and this is very hard to do, I would maybe say Heaven Hill, man. I don't know. It's maybe something from Heaven Hill. I could be completely wrong, but
very hard
I
to do. It's very,
don't
very
know if it's
hard
something
to
from
do.
Buffalo Trace though, too, man. I don't know.
Very hard to do. And you're doing well, man, on your guessing. Yeah, I mean, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
It's tough. Either way, this is delicious. Whatever it is, I mean, it's pretty good. It's a very easy drink or something um I could go back to and sip on. And it's almost reminds me of a little bit of that Jim Beam, how it just kind of sits like I'm not getting that lingering like going down, but it's just on top of my tongue still. So
Right, right. A is a good one. They're
mm-hmm.
all good ones, really. I mean, I'm interested to see which one you pick as your favorite. You know, that's that. I think when everyone sees what these are, I never put. I should have done. I've never put these side by side before either. You know, I think I know which one is going to come in last, but I've never put these side by side either. So I'm kind of interested to see what I think with them side by side also. But
I'm gonna go
Ace
ahead and move
definitely
on
a
to the.
solid four, man.
You want me to go ahead and move on to letter B?
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
There we go.
All right. Now this one completely swings up on the nose here.
Oh yeah, that's rich.
Yeah.
That is rich.
There's a
Toffees and caramel.
there's a very faint. Oh yeah, it's very heavy caramel. Um, but then further past that, it's almost like a molasses, like a molasses, like a syrup.
Deep, rich molasses.
Yeah. But then like getting some. Is there a lot of rye in this one?
I, I, no, no. It does have some zest to it, but that may be from just the ethanol proof of it.
Huh.
It is.
It's got
It is
an interesting spice, like a spice to it. And I don't know what the hell that is, but it smells good.
it's very, very good, and it's everything, and it's rich. There are very rich caramels, toffees, some dark fruits in there, like a dark cherry, a plum. Getting a little bit
All
of.
right, I gotta taste this guy, man. Cheers.
All right, cheers, brother.
Oh wow, man, that's pretty good. Man, what is that? This almost reminds me of like a. This almost reminds me of like a Booker's.
It is intense, man, and the finish is still going,
Yeah.
lingering fruits, and everything in it's just rich, dense, like a molasses note, lingering toffee, very mouth coating, viscous whiskey.
I'm picking up some butterscotch. So on the front of the palate, um, again, hard to determine whether that's the spice or the proof, but it packs a punch on the tongue for sure. But it's like a caramel like drizzled. Uh, it's there's different layers to it on the front of the palate. I'm picking up some some fruity characters, some like a deep, rich caramel, and that all flows all the way through. It just goes all the way back. It doesn't necessarily change at all.
No,
It's a
it's kind of a hard one. I mean, especially going into it blind because it is the initial blast on the palate kind of takes away from it. I think when you go in for a second sip, it's going to be a little more interesting and maybe develop a little bit better on the palate. Going for another sip, guys. Cheers. Guy Davis, man, thank you so much for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's so mouth coating. It has made my tongue completely numb.
Yeah.
But then as that starts to go away, those layers of flavors just from front to end it just maintains all the way down. To me, this is like a dessert whiskey. This is something you can drink after dinner. This is really, really good.
Very dessert. I mean, it is so. Yeah. It just envelops the palate so well, unfolds nicely. I get like a vanilla and caramel that's drizzled through some dark fruits on the middle of the palate, and that butterscotch that you're getting, I get like a toffee note, and maybe a little of a toffee note lingering on the finish, and the finish is long. It is a long, lingering finish. Nice Kentucky hug, very nice, and it is kind of fruity mid palate for me. And there's a little bit of rye spice there, maybe a little citrus zest. And
I'm going to tell you, after this starts to go away in the glass, I get a very heavy cinnamon presence on the nose. I mean, I get cinnamon. Like I stuck my nose in one of the little seasonings of cinnamon. It is after it's gone, it is just cinnamon, man.
Very nice.
Like, red hot, like a cinnamon red hot.
Yeah, it does have that. It does have like a cinnamon red hot essence to it. Now that it has glass, but what's weird to me, and this, as far as coating the glass, the first one, it'll just painted the side of the glass. This one here is doing it, and I know it's a viscous whiskey because I just drank it. But as far as coating the glass, A was just painting the sides of the glass, which B was definitely there. Nice viscous whiskey, nice oily viscous whiskey for sure, but wasn't sticking to the glass as well for me. But doesn't really matter.
It's very hard. Like you would think that A, being viscous and oily, would stick to the palate, more. Where this one on the glass, it's definitely viscous, you can tell. But when this thing sits on the palate, I mean, my God, it's like your tongue is covered in something.
It is there. It is definitely
it's a cinnamon red hot on the nose when this thing is empty. Oh my God. That's really good. That's really good. I finished almost all of it. I still got a little left in the sample. That's really good.
Chad Holly said Buffalo Trace is all berries for me. I totally agree, Chad. That is definitely a good statement right there. It is for me also. We'll check the chat real quick before we go in to see Alt Muser whiskey reviews. Damn, sounds like a wine finish. I will say this: none of them are wine finished. None of these whiskeys that I sent were finished whiskeys. They're all just bourbon whiskeys. Trying to catch up on the chat. I apologize, guys, if I missed anything. I see Chris was in the chat. Patrick Fulmer, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much for stopping by. I want to say thank you. Yeah, I want to say thank you once again, everyone, for stopping by and hanging out with us on a Friday night, drinking some whiskey and sharing some good times with each other. Once again, thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Dan, are you ready to go into C?
Let's do it, man. I tell you, I would probably take B over A right now. They're both really good. I guess it really would depend on the mood that you're in.
Right.
But I would definitely, I think I would take B over A right now.
I can see that. Definitely see that.
All right, now this guy right here is dark. Very, very dark, and this has some nice viscosity to it too. Green glass. Oh, that's different. Man, you know how I said that smelled like a Booker's? This smells like a Booker's.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely
This has a sweetness to it too.
this is
It's
more like
almost
a peanut brittle on the nose for me. Like a sweet peanut brittle. Definitely got a toffee caramel note, some brown sugar, and
brown
molasses.
sugar. Brown sugar is definitely present on this one. Man, but I tell you, there's a lot of different fruity characters in this one. I'm getting I'm getting like a blackberry.
Yeah, it's definitely got some fruits to it.
Yeah.
Peter White, thanks for stopping by, buddy. And it is a super dark whiskey.
It's
Very dark.
very dark.
Very dark whiskey.
I tell you, this nose is very inviting though. This is almost a. I mean, I think there's some cherry in here for sure.
Getting some nice like burnt sugars, some caramels, toffee, peanut brittle, vanilla, and the vanilla is almost like a vanilla extract. It's a different. It's not like It's a very intense, pronounced vanilla note. Everything on this is rich, dense. It's a very inviting nose.
Oh,
It's
it is.
one of those noses that you can just kind of sit around and smell all afternoon long.
I'm going to the palate, buddy.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers. Whoo!
Yeah, that one's in there.
I'm ready to breathe fire now, bud.
That one's in there, bud. That is definitely a little got a little more heat on it.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little more heat on it for sure. A little more heat.
Man, that's good, man.
It is very good. And now that I go back to the nose after introducing to the palate, I'm definitely getting a more fruity aspect to it.
I get like I was gonna say a very like fresh fruit, like just cut, and I didn't get that until after I took a sip of it.
Chris Beaton, we'll never see that up here in Canada. Sorry, guys, once again for not staying completely up with the chat. Keith Daniel, I'm gonna pour a drain of Larceny Barrel Proof because that's what I've opened right now. Yeah, Keith, man, I've been trying to find the Larceny Barrel Proof, vigorously. And I live about 20 minutes from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, I found the bottle, but Kentucky is. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. Somebody correct me at the chat if I'm wrong. Kentucky's not a 3-tier state. Kentucky can sell their whiskey in the store on the shelf for any price they want. Just like Pappy Van Winkle or whatever. I can find that all day in Kentucky. I know 3 or 4 places right now I can find it. But it's all secondary pricing. I found the Larceny Barrel Proof. They wanted like $200 for the bottle. It's a hard pass right now. I am trying to find it for retail. So if anyone can help me out on that, I will definitely send the cash for some Larceny Barrel Proof. You go to any of my videos or whatever, I do have my email in the descriptions. But yeah, I'd love to try it. I've only found it for secondary pricing, and I'm just not trying to spend that right now. That's the same way with the new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Just definitely not wanting to pay secondary pricing on that. But anyway, Dan, that is definitely a heavy hitter for sure, huh?
I'm gonna proof wise. Tell me if I'm right here. I'm gonna say somewhere between like 128 to 135 proof. Am I close?
On the higher end, yes, you're close.
Huh?
You're close. This one is damn near hazmat.
Okay, yeah. So I say somewhere between 128 and like 135 ish, because it's up there.
Jason Coates at the Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. I am not savvy with what the upside means right there. I apologize for that. Yeah, this one is definitely a heavy hitter for sure.
This to me, this almost reminds me of the Stag Junior that the batch 9. This is very close to like the profile of it almost.
Yeah, and Dan, I've got that sample of the batch 9 you sent me. I actually sipped on it the other night. Okay, so okay. I will check your previous messages. What's up, Guy Davis?
Yeah, it's it has almost a very similar profile to the Stag Junior batch 9. Man, that's tough. You know, I originally thought B may have been something from I got it. This almost tastes like a Buffalo Trace product, man. I don't, and I could be horribly wrong, but there's just something that reminds me of the batch 9 in here. So I'm gonna say that this is a Buffalo Trace product. That's my final answer. So,
man, you're. I'm not going to say anything. I need to answer this real quick. Jason Coates, yes, if you can find it for that price, just email me. I don't have my email in the description of this live because StreamYard is just really weird about they don't let you put your description in, no tags or anything, really until after the video's over. But if you look at any of my other videos, if you can pick up the bottle, I will PayPal you to get you the cash and give you my information, whatever, because 75 is a reasonable price for that, I think, especially you going out of your way to pick it up. And I greatly appreciate that.
yeah, I'm going to Stag Junior final answer on this one. It's got to be a Stag Junior or Buffalo Trace product. It has to be. If I'm wrong, then I will send you a sample of something else. It has to be. It's so similar to that batch 9.
Okay, that was C, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
At first I thought it was B. All right. So this is so hard. I mean, if I had to rank them, for me, I would probably put A in last.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily the proof points. Again, I do like high proof bourbon, but I feel like B and C offered more. They packed a better punch. The nose was there was more on the nose. The finish and the lingering finish, and then The transition layers of some of these. I mean, honestly, man, B and C could be a toss up. I mean, it really would just depend on my mood. But I'm gonna pick letter C as the winner.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Letter C as the winner, and then letter B, and then letter A. But
All right. Well, here comes the reveal. Let me pour out my samples right here that you sent me, so they can get a little bit of airtime. I just now remembered to pour them out. And guys, I apologize for the picture and you not being able to see what I have going on here. That's going to be changing here soon. But first up, letter A. Letter A is the Weller Antique 107. You were dead on with the proof point on this one. You said 103 to 110, and it is, I'll drop the bottle right there, to 110. And yeah, you were right on. It's definitely, these are all good pours of whiskey. All good pours, definitely some hard choices. And
is that a pick or is that just a straight 107?
It's a straight 107, no pick. No pick.
Again, it's not that it's bad by any means. It's just that these, whatever this is up against is very, very good. So
okay, right, okay. B is a dead soldier now. I actually poured out, I've shared this with a bunch of people. You got the, Richie Z still has the last sample of this up in the cabinet, but this is the Stag Junior Batch 12. Stag Junior Batch 12. Yeah.
So I said originally, I thought that it was a stag. One of these.
Yeah. It's so hard, and to be honest, Stag Junior Batch 12 was last year as whiskeys I've reviewed. I didn't want to put up any like whiskeys of the year that I haven't reviewed. Just me, not Jake and anyone else. Just the ones that I reviewed because it was kind of my episode. But anyway, Stag Junior Batch 12 was my whiskey of the year, but I had not had the C yet. This here is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C919 was
nice.
Yeah, and I had not had it yet. I've had the A and the B, and I just refused to pay secondary pricing. I just hate it. I feel like I'm getting took any time that I have to pay it. And I finally found this bottle probably a month and a half ago. And I want to spend some time with it before I reviewed it. I'm still going to review it probably. And it's definitely an outstanding pour of whiskey. Now, and I agree with what you're saying. It kind of depends on what kind of mood you're in. But B and C are definitely outstanding pours. And I can definitely see why you would have picked C. I mean, it is definitely intense. There's some drama involved. It's 136.8 proof. It's definitely got some heat to it. Pretty good. You done well, Dan. Done very well. My palate is probably blown right now.
What did I say? 128 to 135 proofs. Is that what I said for that one?
Yeah. And I told you it's a higher type of things. Chad Holly said, "Damn, that batch is amazing. Can't believe something beat it out." Chad Holly, you are correct. But I mean, I had never put the Stag Junior Batch 12 and the C919 side by side either. I hadn't done it. I had both bottles. I just hadn't done it.
I mean, I had a very hard time deciding between these two. So it honestly, it could have went either way. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree totally. I'm not. That is one
it could have been I should let her see last. You know what I mean? Maybe that was a deciding factor. But honestly, it could have gone either way. They were both extremely good.
Very, very good pours, and I think you said it well. It would be hard to pick it's kind of dependent on what day it is and what you're in the mood for. I do think, me personally, the Stag Junior is a little more approachable. There is some intense ethanol on the Elijah Craig. Not saying it's a bad by no means, but it does come across a little more pungent on the ethanol. And the batch 12 is a little more flowing and approachable, if there is such a thing in your 130 proof whiskeys. But all right, Keith, Daniel, I'm gonna catch up with the chat real quick, Dan, before we go into these samples here. Keith, Daniel, got 2 unopened bottles of Elijah Craig C09. I got 2 unopened bottles of Elijah. Paid 56 for each of them. Also got an open bottle of the Stag. Keith, crack those bad boys open, brother. Those are some very good. I mean, the batch 12 and the C919 are absolutely outstanding pours of bourbon whiskey at a great value. I mean, I got my Stag Junior for around $60, and for the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I think I paid 65 for. Both
All right, now
outstanding values.
With these samples, I will say that they are not all bourbon. Okay.
Okay.
Now there's no Scotch, there's no rye. All right. And
it's not bourbon.
But there's nothing is finished. That's all I will say. No finish, no rye.
Okay, but they're not all bourbon.
They're not all bourbon.
So is American whiskey is what you're saying?
Maybe.
All right. The first one on the nose, I'm just smelling George Dickel. George Dickel through and through on the nose on A. I'm getting that George Dickel minerally chalkiness.
On A?
On A. Old Rick House. No, vanilla caramel. Very approachable nose.
You're like a Cracker Jack.
It is like a Cracker Jack, like some. Keith Daniels said I could pick that Stag Junior blind anytime, anywhere. Yeah, Stag Junior is, man, I'm telling you what, Keith, it is hard. I mean, especially when you have no idea what's coming at you. I get it, man. The Buffalo Trace distinctions are there, and Dan, I think, called it with the berries. But yeah. This is interesting and different. It's got that caramel, vanilla. It's like a burnt sugars. Mm-hmm. Burnt sugars. Very approachable.
This one, I was very hesitant on this at first, but with a little bit of airtime, the palate for me really opened up. Nose pretty much stayed the same from neck pour to where it is now, but as it went on,
I'm retracting from my George Dickel statement. Maybe, yeah, I'm retracting. I'm retracting from George Dickel's statement. That like chalky Dickel note went away. Vanillas, caramels, burnt sugars. It's very sweet. But again, it has like a musty old Rick House note on it also.
There is nothing old in here.
Yeah.
There's no Dusties in this one.
Very nice nose, very approachable. I would guess it's kind of hard to guess proof now. We just got to come off some.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I know this is very much more approachable than we were where we was at. I would say, I don't know, man. It's probably low 100 proof, maybe. Distillery characteristics. I'm not picking up anything distinct. First impression was Dickel, but I think that's changed now. They still have that little chalkiness to the nose. Let's go in for a taste. Cheers, everybody. I want to thank everyone once again for hanging out with me and Dan tonight.
Chad Holly got a good guess. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking distillery right now. That's what I'm trying to think. But nice coating whiskey. My palate is blown a little bit. It really, really is, man. Let me get another sip real quick.
Yeah, the palate on this changed for me completely from the neck pour until now. When I first opened it, it reminded me of yeah, it reminded me of
it has burnt sugars lingering. A nice vanilla caramel note, of course. It's not real fruity. It is very approachable. I'd say finishes middle of the road. It does coat the mouth well. Let me go in for another sip here, guys.
Yeah, it's again, it almost reminded me of a mix between like an Elijah Craig small batch and then like almost like a Jack Daniels, like a
it's weird. There's no nuttiness to it, but it's got like a weird, funky, like musty rickhouse note that I like. It's kind of lingering. One more sip, guys. Yeah, man, I'm getting that chalkiness though. That chalky, minerally note. It's not super present, but I think it's there. If I had to guess, I could be totally wrong. As far as distillery characteristics goes, it's leaning towards like a Dickel, a little bit of a Dickel note distillery wise, but it's vanillas, caramels. Yeah, vanillas, caramels, some burnt sugars, and it's nice mouth coating. Whiskey finish, I'd say, is middle of the road on a. And now that the glass is a little less empty, definitely got that minerally Dickel note on a. If I had to guess, I'd say this is either some sort of sourced Dickel or something of that nature. On
okay.
All right.
It's a good guess.
Getting ready to look real stupid here, guys, but
now it's a good guess.
All right. We're going into B. Once again, blind samples of George Dickel would be a prank unless the barrel bourbons. Peter White. Me and Dan's good buddies, so it very well could be some trickery involved here. Ooh, man, B is creamy. B is a creamy, like creamy vanilla. Oh man, that is nice. Wow. B is Very nice. It's got a very creamy aspect to the nose that I really, really like. Brown sugar, little toffee in there,
Yep.
little
I get some
butterscotch.
very like a juicy fruit, like fruitiness down a little bit down further.
I can see that. I can definitely see the juicy fruit. Man, that is a nice nose. Very
It's
inviting nose.
like a bready character.
Very inviting nose on this one. Very sweet.
Yeah.
Creamy. Man, that is good right there. I'm getting like a Werther's original
You
on
get
the
some
nose of
butterscotch
this
in there?
one, like a creamy caramel vanilla. Man, this is nice. Very, very pleasant and approachable nose.
This I was
Wow.
very surprised by. Yeah.
Toffee? What is this?
I get like a nice bread, like a bready smell.
There is like a little bready yeast.
Yeah.
Not much of a peppery or rye spice going. This is very inviting nose. This is nice. Very nice nose on B. I got going for a taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
What is that? What is that? That is good.
Yeah.
That is unique and interesting. It kind of hit me with a flash there at the front of the palate. I gotta go for another sip. One more sip. Let me take a drink of water, guys. That was different. That was very different from the nose. Very interesting. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of barrel char now too on the nose. I gotta go for another sip, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, I get a nice like cinnamon on the nose, like a very like creamy, uh, like almost like a drizzled cream over top of some kind of like bread. It's like a sweet
That
cream.
is good, man. That is so good. I'm getting like the sweetness on the front of the palate, like the creamy vanilla, like almost like a cheese like a cheese Danish on the front of the palate, and then the mid palate is where I'm getting, and towards the back of the palate that spiciness, those baking spices, and the peppery rye spice, and then it almost transitions and unfolds into a nice sweet weird. I mean, a weird and different, interesting, like brick house barn brick house oaky note that just lingers on the finish. And the finish on this one, guys, it kind of, I'm gonna say, leaning towards the long side of things. This is a good pour of whiskey, and as far as the distillery goes, I have no idea. This is different. And the more I keep going back to it, it's like it's the burnt sugars and caramels. Very, very nice. I want to thank everyone for hanging out and hanging in there with us on this live. Starting to feel the effects of the alcohol a little bit. I am, man. I definitely am. Gonna have to go for another sip of water.
Yeah, this was a bottle that I was actually pretty blown away by when I
Damn good. This is
Yeah.
damn good. I don't know what the proof is. As far as guessing proof, we've done hit like almost hazmat status on proof, but this is good. This is very, very good. Very nice on B. We'll get into C. Richie Z, thank you so much for hanging out, brother. He is listening. Whoa. Whoa. Wow.
I will say, Richie Z knows about this one, but don't say anything in the chat, Richie.
What is this? Damn.
Are you on
today.
C?
Yes, C. I'm on C. What is this?
Yeah, buddy.
Damn. Okay. Man, that is good. That is rich.
Yeah.
Rich, intense, dense sweetness. Rich, fruity characteristic. What is that, man? And that has that creaminess aspect to it also. But versus B, this one, the sweetness is a little bit more intense and a little bit more dense, a little bit more inviting. I mean, man, this is good. Once again, on distillery, if I had to guess on this one, I don't know really. It's got that fruity, sweet, inviting Buffalo Trace aspect to it, but it doesn't in the same aspect. Very creamy. There's some molasses there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some definite molasses, some brown sugar, some caramel.
Chad's last comment was funny.
This is damn good. This is another good, solid pour of whiskey. I have to go in for a taste, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Wow. Super long finish. Super long finish. Still going. Finishing off. I mean, the initial blast, it was kind of hard to get in front of the palate. I'm kind of catching the finish right now. Finishing off in a creamy sweetness. A nice, musty, like brickhouse note. Very nice and inviting. And with vanilla, I'm getting like a butterscotch toffee sweetness on the finish of the first sip. That is outstanding. C is what is that? I'm relating to as like the Ricky House barn musty, the barn note, the brick house note. It's
this
there.
one's dark. This is very dark as well.
And man, it is just painting the sides of the glass. I hope you guys can see that. Probably not. My webcam kind of sucks. But this is nice. Proof wise, I'm guessing 120 plus. This is good. This is really good. It has some heat to it. I'm going for another sip, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank all you guys for coming out and watching tonight. Thank you.
Man, that is good. Toffees, caramels, vanillas, burnt sugars. And I'm getting a little bit of like a baking spice, peppery note mid palate, but the finish is lingering in this nice, dense vanilla bean caramel rickhouse note, which me personally, some people might think that's off-putting, but I really, really enjoy that. That is just really, really good pour of whiskey. As far as distillery goes, on guessing, I don't know what this is. I have no idea. It does have a little minerally aspect kind of the same as A, but different in a certain aspect. But man, that is damn good right there. I got to go in for one more sip of this one. This is good, Dan. Thank you so much for the samples. And everyone that's just joining in, I seen Buddhist 829 is in. Thank you so much for hopping in, brother. I appreciate it. If you've not checked out Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews, check him out. Great channel, putting up some good, knowledgeable whiskey reviews.
Again, so some of the stuff I sent you was it was a little different. I wanted to kind of see where you would take it. So I'm interested to see which one is your favorite.
Okay, all right. As far as interesting, what I think is the highest proof, what I think A's probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
It's between B and C, and I'm kind of going to go down the line here. Let me get one more taste of B. I got to taste another taste of B real quick. Because
I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to show you what A is real quick.
Okay.
And I'm just going to let you know you were spot on with this. Okay. So this is a Smooth Ambler Old Scout. It's a 13-year single barrel. All right, and this was distilled in Tennessee. So this is Dickel Juice.
It did have that minerally, chalky. It wasn't quite the Flintstone vitamin aspect. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the Blue Note bourbon. And the Blue Note bourbon.
And we've actually talked about this on some on some of our phone calls that we have about the Dickel Juice and there being that mineral aspect. But I was saying before how this one kind of surprised me. And it on the nose, yeah, you can catch it, but then on the palate, it kind of steered away from that typical Dickel flavor. So.
Well, what's crazy about what you're saying here is that Dickel isn't picking their best juice, in my opinion. I mean, that's what's crazy. I mean, like that right there is far superior pour than the Dickel single barrels. Any Dickel juice I've ever had, this is far superior. And the Dickel 13-year bottled in bond, that was. And I mean this with all due respect to I'm not trying to be any way, but it just wasn't good. It really wasn't. Yeah. That unless you're totally into chewing on some like Flintstone vitamins or a minerally chalky aspect to a whiskey, me personally, I just did not like the George Dickel. Did I think it was a decent pour of whiskey? He had a 13-year age statement. It has some nice oaky tones, but something that I think that I would ever go back to and think about going back to, it just didn't have that I want to take another sip aspect to it. All right, guys. I'm having a hard time between B
that
and
one only comes at 102 proof, too. So it's a 13-year, 102 proof sourced Smooth Ambler single barrel. So I mean, and again, like you said, that mineral note. As soon as you said it, I was like, he's catching on to it. Then the palate kind of.
Holly said, "Damn, I was close. My Old Scout 13 taste the straight peanuts, and I don't like it." I mean, it's definitely. I could see where it would be like an acquired taste. It's kind of like peated Scotch. Do I think people can learn to enjoy it? But I think there's no really, especially heavily peated Scotch. There's really no in betweens. You're either like, man, this is something I really want to get to know, or like, what is this? This is just not something I can enjoy. That's kind of how I feel about George Dickel Juice. Yeah, either you really don't like it or you love it. There's really no in between. Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews, people like those are crazy good, my friend. And they are, man. They definitely are. Okay, Guys, I'm having a hard time between B and C. I'm going in for one more taste of B. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again for hanging out. Man, that is a nice finish. I am getting a little more rye spice, a little more baking spice on this one than I am C. In his initial blast, proof definitely higher than A, without a doubt, definitely higher. Hey, another drink of water here before going to C one more time. Dan, thank you, my friend, once again for the outstanding bottle of the Jim Beam 200th anniversary and these amazing pours that you sent tonight. Cheers, everybody. This is C.
Yeah, they're both really good.
They're both really good, man. They are both really good pours of whiskey. C's just kind of hanging out, saying, "Man, take another sip." This is good. I mean, it really is. Okay, A is my least favorite. C is my favorite.
Okay.
B is my second favorite, man. I'm really interested to know what B and C are. Jason Coast says you're largely secured. Jason, man, I thank you so much, man. Just email me or whatever. I'll PayPal you, and if you need to, I'll pay for shipping and all that stuff. Also, I greatly appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much.
So letter B. Now B and C are both. It's just pretty crazy. I didn't know this until looking at it. They are both identical in proof, completely. So letter B is the Old Elk single barrel straight wheat whiskey.
Very different. So that's good.
From the former distiller of MGP.
Very good pour of whiskey.
Yeah, this is from the Bourbon Enthusiast. He had a pick that he did, single barrel pick, and this is what he picked. This one comes in at 113.3 proof.
Very good. And I seen the Bourbon Enthusiast whiskey room today.
Yeah.
Man, that is a top-notch whiskey room. Hundreds of bottles of whiskey. Definitely a good solid pour of whiskey.
Yeah, that's again, for being a straight wheater, it offers so much flavor to it. I had sent Richie out a sample of this, and it's for a straight wheat. I would take this over any wheated whiskey any day of the week, any of them, anything wheated out there.
The sweetness is complemented so well with some darkness, just a little bit of dark fruits, and that old brick house musty note. It just everything complements and unfolds very well and nicely on the palate. Outstanding pour of whiskey. Yeah. Super excited to see what C is.
All right, so letter C is the Uncle Nearest 1820 single barrel. This is number one.
Oh man.
Yeah, this also comes in at 113.3 proof. So they're identical in proof. This is absolutely fantastic. The very first, this is the first one. They're about to come out with batch 2. Richie Z had actually sent me a sample of this a little while back, and it blew my socks off, man. I mean, I could not believe that this tasted like this. And this is 11 years old.
Who they sourcing from?
I'm not 100% sure if it's sourced. I haven't researched that yet. But But again, batch one of Uncle Nearest Single Barrel. This stuff is dynamite right here, man, without a doubt. And it is so dark. I mean, it's such a dark bourbon.
It is very, very good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm gonna give away some samples for everyone that hung around here. All right, I got a question. I'm gonna give away a sample of the Jim Beam 200-year commemorative bottle. JD or Peter White said JD or Dickel.
I want to say because I mean, Uncle Nearest was the one who taught Jack Daniels how to make Tennessee whiskey. So I don't know if they source through him or not. I mean, tasting this side by side with a Jack Daniels single barrel, yes, there are some similarities, but then there's also such differences too. So it's really hard to say, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems way more. I thought it was some kind of weird Buffalo Trace. I mean, it's got some Buffalo Trace aspects to it. I mean, this is the Uncle Nearest single barrel is no joke, guys. This is a damn good pour of whiskey.
I'm telling you, man. Richie sent me a sample of that, and I was like, I'm buying a bottle if I find it.
This is good.
It's freaking fantastic, man. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite bourbons I've tried from last year. I mean, it just packs so much flavor, and it's deep and it's rich and it's viscous and oily. It's amazing. It really is.
Okay, the question I'm going to ask, Dan, you want to give away a sample? If not, that's cool.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give away a sample of any one of the 3 bottles that I have. I send you tonight. So either Old Elk, Uncle Nearest, or the Old Scout 13-year single barrel. Either one of them, I'll give away to whoever.
Okay, cool, awesome, man. Okay, the answer to this question right here. This may be a tough question. Oh man, I can't even ask that. Okay, what proof? I don't even know if I'm going to ask that also. Man, there's a lot of people that wasn't here right when we said that. Okay, I got it. What was Dan's favorite whiskey of tonight? What on the blind sampling? Right?
Yeah, even Richie Z said that Old Elk Weeder it's fantastic, man.
It is, dude. I mean, that is really good, and that's what I'm going back to right now. That is what I'm going back to. Is see, we'll share this with everyone. Yeah, yep. Chad Holly got it. Yep, Chad Holly. If someone missed half of this, Peter White, Chad Holly got it. Dan, do you want to ask another question for the samples you're going to send out? Chad Holly, not in the bottom of this live stream here, but you can go to any one of my videos. Just email me, or my email address is in the description of any of my videos. Just email me, give me your info, and I will send out the sample as soon as I get your information. Or you can leave your email address in the chat.
So my question is going to be, and this is good for a sample of either the Old Elk, you can do the Jim Beam if you want, the Uncle Nearest single barrel, or the Old Scout single barrel. So if you could tell me what Brent from the Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews last review was, what did he review last on his channel? Go ahead.
Dan, I'm gonna go ahead and say Peter White gets this one. You're welcome, Chad Holly. Thanks for hanging in, buddy.
Oh yeah, I did send Peter White a sample of that Russell's Reserve 2002. Yeah.
I just got that, Peter White, and that is the best Russell's Reserve I have ever had, period. That was outstanding.
Yeah. Those, I'm going to tell you, those are hard to come by, man. I mean, my gosh,
Dude,
those things are crazy price now.
that was outstanding. Whistle Pig. Chad Holly got the Whistle Pig too, man. Chad Holly's getting samples from Dusty Dan. Hey, man, Chad, if you want to, I'll just give Dan your information. Just email me,
Well,
and I'll make sure Dan.
Chad has my info.
Okay, cool, awesome, man. Yeah, Chad did get it, man. William, I hope I seen you earlier. Thanks for hanging out and stopping in, man. Been a good, fun live stream. Once again, I want to thank everyone for stopping by. I have a newly released rye whiskey coming up in tomorrow's review. It's definitely Peter. You should watch it. Peter is a rye whiskey guy. I don't know what the allocation is or when he'll be able to see this in Canada, but anyway, got a cool review coming up tomorrow. Dan, if you guys have not subscribed to Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews, hit that subscribe button. He does some very good whiskey reviews, very knowledgeable whiskey enthusiast. Hit that subscribe button on Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews.
Yeah,
I
guys,
forgot, and I did say you did not rate it. Hold on one second. Yeah, you did, Peter. You definitely did. Peter White said, I forgot and I bet you didn't rate it higher. Hey, I tell you what, Peter, I'm not a huge rye guy. You know this. And I'm not going to say Whistle Pig 10 year is bad. I'm not. You definitely can't deny the fact that it's a good rye whiskey. $80 price range, 10-year age statement aside. 10-year age statement aside, me personally, there's, I'd even Old Forester rye. I mean, I really enjoy that. I'm not a huge rye guy. I'm really not. Whistle Pig was solid. The Whistle Pig store picks that I've had, outstanding, and cheaper than their regular 10-year release. So I mean, to say that it was bad would be a lie on my part. To say it was something that I think is a great value, I just don't. I mean, 10-year age statement aside, I think Peter said something about the old ale, the old ale, or Kentucky Ale rye whiskey. Yeah, it's totally different rye, totally different flavor profile, and it is a much smaller batch of rye. But yeah, if we all had the same opinions, there would be no sense to even have whiskey reviews. But I want to thank everyone once again for watching. If you have not subscribed to Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews, please check him out and hit that subscribe button. Help support his channel. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're calling tonight, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.